Indianapolis Colts versus the Eagles. First half recap coming at you right now.
There's no better way to get better at football than playing football. So if you want to...
Taylor's going to finish it!
I've always been confident in my abilities. I think, I'm a guy that can go out there, and I always believe in myself that I'm going to get open and make the play if they throw me the ball.
The third. Ryan, end zone shot for Pierce. He caught it! Oh, what a...
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Colts Cast. We are here to talk about everything and anything Indianapolis Colts. Here's Jamal Lawrence, and I'm Eric Smith, your co-host of the Colts Cast. Ladies and gentlemen, please like, subscribe, and comment below if you are on YouTube. It really helps us out. It's all free. Benefits all the Colts Nation. You guys got it. Look, let's get right into it. It's a little past halftime as we're recording this episode. The Indianapolis Colts, I think they're currently up 17-13 on the Philadelphia Eagles. So they're battling out right now, but we decided to give you guys content as soon as we could. The starters got to play the first half mostly, especially our offense. The Eagles sat most of their starters, if not all, tonight. Got to see a lot of fringe players too on the Colts, make a considerable impact. So the coaches could see if, hey, should we put this guy on our 53-man roster? So, Jamal, let's get right into it. I know who I want to start out with first, and I'm sure you got the same person in mind.
Mr. Richardson himself, Mr. AR5, stepping on the field for the first time officially for us. I won't say the first time, but at least with the full first half. It was exciting to see. Yeah, what did he finish? I think 6 for 17, 78 yards passing, 5 carries, 38 yards, I believe. Man, it wasn't too bad.
Again, another rough box score for Anthony Richardson. You see 17 throws and 6 completions, and the fan who didn't watch this game, you'd be like, oh wow, he must have been inaccurate tonight. But we got to talk about it because I believe, it looked like his composure was on full display tonight. It felt like he was in control of the offense. Definitely some mistakes in there. The first drive, he could have had even more rushing yards. He that third and I think it was 3rd and 15. He converted off a scramble, but Quinn Nelson, 2 back-to-back penalties, really stalled that drive out. Real ugly. But yeah, what do you think of Richardson?
Yeah, like you said, man, I thought that the numbers really don't indicate what he did, man. He had some zip on some of those balls he was throwing. A couple of them were a little high, but again, he put him in a place where, for example, on that first drive, he had that high ball to MPJ. That was very high. But when I think about Michael Pittman Jr., that's a pass where he put it up somewhere where only his receiver could catch the ball. Essentially, it was a little bit higher than what Pittman can do.
It was pretty high.
It was pretty high. But what I noticed, what he does with Pittman is he locks him up, because when we think about the Josh Downs throw he did just I think it was the fourth drive, the last drive they were on the field, that was a dot. He threw it directly to Downs' hands. Yeah, it was too fast for Downs, as a matter of fact. So I think that him and MPJ may have a little connection on where they try to get that ball high, just because I feel like I've seen him dot it straight in the numbers with Downs, dot it straight in numbers with Granson, both two shorter players when we're talking about a 6+ Michael Pittman Jr. So
no, I guess I could see that, but they do look like they're sailing too high. And yeah, it does seem like it's only with Michael Pittman that he's doing that with. So I wonder if that's what he's trying to do. But hey, I'm not too mad about it. Like, I know he's not going to be perfect out there. But yeah, let's talk about Josh Downs, because that last bullet that we saw right before the half, that was a perfect throw to him, right?
Mm-hmm. That was a dart. I don't know, man. I think it was too fast. I don't think he expected to be coming at him that quick. Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. I don't know. I really think, like, if it hits your hands like that in stride, like, you got to bring it down. I feel like there was another throw too. Maybe it was that throw, but another one that popped out of his hands earlier in that first half.
I think that was the only one, but I could be mistaken.
Either way, not the night you want to see for Josh Downs. But his connection with Kylan Granson, them things have been on point. I don't know if you saw I mean, he had a nice catch. I think it was kind of down the seam, down the sideline near the hash. Kylan Granson went up and grabbed that thing. It was a good throw, but it was even better catch. And then like a play or two later, you saw Anthony Richardson just completely evade a sack. And like he made a throw to Kylan Granson with a defender all over him. And I don't know how he got that ball out, but it would have been a great play if Cranston could have secured it. I know it touched the ground a little, so they called it incomplete. But I mean, you're talking about somebody who created magic out of that play. That was exceptional to me. And
Yeah, especially thinking about, I mean, he like pumped it the first throw before he was halfway to the ground. Then he let it go at the literal very last second he possibly could have, and it
right.
still had enough zip to get to him. And again, it hit the ground, but I mean, still, I don't think many people could have been able to make that throw when they have no, no feet, no hips, no nothing to help them. That was just straight arm.
Right. And again, another play right after he evades another sack. Couldn't convert the run to a first down, but still got some positive yards out of it. I think that's the drive we converted a field goal too. So just getting those extra yards for your kicker, it helps out. But I mean, just based off that drive, I forget, it was the 5th drive, I think. You taking Richardson's size, strength, and speed. It's a really tough ask for the linebacker who's blitzing. They were blitzing on that play to bring this 245, 250 pound, 6'4" quarterback down. I don't know. If we're being completely honest, that's just a lot. And it was on full display. People were downplaying his low pressure to sack ratio when he was in college. I think it was under 10%, which is absolutely amazing. It just shows, you can evade sacks. You can extend plays when pressure's on you. And people were just like, it's college. But it was on display tonight, and it shows that's going to keep our offensive line. Like,
yeah,
Matt Ryan in that situation, what happens?
No. It's over. He getting hit. And I honestly feel like those kind of plays are kind of what happened with Quentin Nelson. Not so much that false start, but that hold he had where, because going back to that first drive where Richardson was able to evade, the pocket and go for that scramble. Well, Nelson, I'm sure in his mind, he's used to blocking for quarterbacks who don't have any mobility. So he was just holding on for dear life, trying to hope that the play extended out a little bit. Yeah, I know. We don't want to see it. We hate to see it, especially on our high dollar offensive lineman himself. But that's just an example of where we have to remember that Richardson has the ability to just evade the pocket, and the same one like you just said, Eric, where he has the ability to evade the pocket and make a big play off of something, whether that be he continues to scramble or he lets the ball out the last second before he crosses that line of scrimmage. I mean, he definitely has the ability to suck in that coverage. And again, I mean, even linebackers going up on him one-on-one, I'm taking Richardson. I'm taking him.
Yeah, he literally makes those. I don't care if it's the backup unit for the Eagles. I mean, you have to play to Anthony Richardson, essentially. He controls that offense. He's controlling the tempo. I mean, that I saw on a few plays, he just made the linebackers freeze, and that opens up the field for other players. Like I think it was the second drive, might have been third, but Andrew Ogletree was in there.
Mm-hmm.
He caught his first pass, bulldozing over defenders after an RPO play, and it was because that linebacker had to freeze. They thought Anthony Richardson was going to take off, opening up the field, giving opportunities to playmakers. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
And I like how you talked about that freezing up, because when we think back to that third drive, where Hull had to run the ball 3 times to get that touchdown, they finally gave to him at the last time. But on the very last play where he actually did get the touchdown, if you watch that slow-mo replay they did, Richardson held on to that ball. I mean, I thought he was going to pull it. Looking at the replay, I almost thought that, man, he meant to pull it, but it just so happened that Hull had enough grip on it that he let it go. But
Yeah.
that's what we talk about when you freeze up the linebacker. That's a goal line setting, so I know that's a little bit different, but could you imagine that being like the 20 or the 25-yard line where he holds the ball that long to where he could pull it? At that point, that linebacker's thinking one of two things. Oh shit, I just made the wrong call, or boom, I'm in here for the right call. And that's just a threat that I don't want to have to make as a linebacker, to think that, oh, I pressured Hull, so now I'm going to miss on a Richardson, or I decided to ride Richardson because he rode that, that fake so long and then let it go at the very last second.
Yeah. Having a mobile quarterback, I haven't I haven't felt this in a long time because of our past 3 or 4 quarterbacks we've had, but having a mobile quarterback is different, and teams have to account for it. They have to play honest defense. I just think we're going to be so much better. Our offense is going to be so much better than last year's, as long as he can keep the turnovers to a minimal. We saw some, I think he had one potential interception play. I think he stared down Michael Pittman way too long, tried to zip it in there. Defender was all over it, just read the quarterback's eyes. That should have been an interception. That can easily be one. That can easily actually be a pick 6 for the type of play it was. Glad it didn't happen, but that was one of Richardson's mistakes tonight.
Yeah, he had one more too. It was down when he threw a ball into the end zone. I forgot who it was, but it was 2 of our guys. I wish I would have stopped it to see exactly who it was. But they kind of crossed it right by the pot, or maybe between the pylon and like the hash, and it was just a pass where it could have been picked off. Because we had both our players crossing at the same time, and the defenders were right there, so we just got lucky with that one too. That was more of a forced pass where he's showing that arm strength and that zip, and he has the ability to get it there, but we got to be able to pinpoint. And I hate those risky passes whenever we're in a situation in a scoring position. So that's one thing to look at.
I know the exact play you're talking about. He zipped it into, it looked like double covers, just with so many players there. But yeah, it felt forced, but it got there real quick.
Oh yeah.
But 6 for 17, not great as far as the completion percentage, but boy, I want to talk about our wide receiver group, because I felt like they were not helping him at all. Like, we need to talk about your favorite player, Alec Pierce.
That's your boy, the one who couldn't create any separation. I mean, he had a couple opportunities and he couldn't get the first play of the game. They said, we can go all out, we can give it to Pierce, and no separation, man. Listen, all I'm saying is that what I heard all off season was he was working on yoga, working on that route, working on this, working on that to be more nimble, to be able to break away. But I didn't see that. And based off the videos we saw, during training or during that joint practice, he looked like he was creating some separation, but that was not happening today. Not happening.
I don't know. He must got the preseason jitters or something. Because my boy, every time he gets targeted, he's got a contested catch on his hands, which for Alec Pierce, he's probably in the, out of all the receivers on our team, he's probably got one of the higher contested catch rates, on our team. But still, man, it is not great to see. Really, like, the best connection was Kylan Granson and Richardson tonight. Like, we saw him trying to feed Michael Pittman a lot, which is reminiscent of last season. Michael Pittman was that wide receiver 1, hauling in a lot of targets. However, some of those were sailing way too high. But overall, Richardson, just this offensive system built around him, I think looked really good tonight, just with the RPO game, the zone reads, even just we're running the ball a good bit. Like, he carried it 5 times with the other running backs, Evan Hull, Deion Jackson. They got 10 carries apiece. I'm seeing a lot of downfield bombs, downfield shots. All of them were basically to Alec Pierce, but we're pushing the ball downfield. It's good to see, man. It's really good to see.
Yeah, it is good to see. And not to mention, I mean, we talked about that 5 for 38 for those carries for Richardson. There were other opportunities he had where he could have just jetted off too, where I'm sure he was working on his composure and not trying to, just scramble whenever he gets the opportunity to. But there were plenty of times I saw where I'm like, dude, just take off, go get 7-8 yards and then go out of bounds. You know what I mean? Like, but we went for other shots, and I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at the play call, but I like to see that even when they're pressing the box, there were still opportunities for him to, step up and even dart out of that pocket if he absolutely needed to. And I like to think that maybe in a 2-minute drill situation or something like that, where we're trying to get quick yards to try to get in the field goal position, maybe he would have just jetted off for 4 or 5 yards and then got out of bounds to stop the clock, versus eating up 6 seconds of hoping somebody gets open and then you throw an incomplete pass or risk an interception. Right. So
offensive line also didn't look too bad tonight. After Quentin Nelson got whatever mojo was in him. I don't know what that was, but yeah, he was that first drive. Look, if you hear an offensive line's name throughout the drive, it's usually not for a good reason. It's usually a bad reason. But yeah, Anthony Richardson, I'm happy we have him. I sat there and I was just like, I'm glad we don't have Will Levis.
Yeah, we don't need no lifetime supply of mayonnaise. Nonsense. Get out of here.
About to head to our defense now.
Yeah, but before we do, man, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors today, Manscaped. So today we're here with the sponsor for your balance and bundle of joy. No, we're not talking about a baby. We're talking about your baby makers. That's right. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped. But just like your babies, your delicate little guys have sensitive skin and deserve products that are not only skin safe, but made with safe ingredients. That's where Manscaped Platinum Package comes in. From razors to shower care, this package goes above the gold standard for your body hair. So treat your beautiful boys to the world's finest toys at manscaped.com and use our code COLTSCAST for 20% off plus free shipping. Manscaped Platinum Package 4.0 is the one-stop shop for the man who deserves it all. They designed this package to allow you to fully align your entire hygiene routine with elite products. Inside this Platinum Package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Ultra Premium Body Wash, Ultra Premium 2-1 Shampoo plus Conditioner, Ultra Premium Deodorant, Crop Preserver, Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Ball Spray Toner, Anti-Chafing Boxers, and the Shed Travel Bag to hold your goods while traveling. Lawnmower 4.0 Body Trimmer and Weed Whacker Nose and Ear Hair Trimmer feature proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to protect your delicate parts and holes. Both are waterproof so you can shave with less mess. Platinum Package 4.0 covers all bases from head to toe and hair to ball fro. Get 20% off with free shipping with the code COLTSCAST at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code COLTSCAST. Use the Platinum Package because the gold standard is no longer good enough. Guys, remember, you can use that code on anything on their website. You don't have to just get the Weed Whacker or the Platinum Package. Anything on that site, you can use it. And you can use it more than once. So go ahead on there and make it happen. Eric and I use these products every single day. They're life-changing. But let's go ahead and jump into that defense, dog.
I don't have that much facial hair. I can't use it every day.
You can, but no. I'm not saying the shaving, but they got the ball toner.
Oh, yeah.
All that
good everything.
Stuff.
I got everything. Yeah. Let's talk about this defense. Jamal, who was standing out for you?
I gotta say, my hometown Philly boy, Zaire Franklin. I got a little nervous with the first team at first, to be honest with you, especially going against their second team for what it was worth. I was like, all right, we're not looking too much to the putting up too much of a fight. But Zaire, I really like the way he stepped up towards after the first and second drive. I mean, I think he got broke on one play on the second drive, I believe it was, but he kind of bounced back from there. I think he ended with 4 tackles at the end of the first half. So he looked good, but also like Dallas Flowers towards the end of the first half. I mean, he had 2 pretty big plays for him. They threw 2 passes towards him. He broke up both of them. So I like to see that just because we still know at this time with our cornerback situation, we don't know exactly what's going on. So I need people like Dallas Flowers to step up and be that guy whenever we can. So it was very promising to see his energy was at a high level today.
Yeah, I like Zaire Franklin. He had a really good pass breakup. I don't know if you talked about that, but he had a great pass breakup in the middle of the field. I really liked it. He's known for his great tackling ability, but in coverage, he was making plays tonight. Cornerback group, Darrell Baker and Dallas Flowers were both stepping up. Darrell Baker Jr., I don't know how he doesn't make the cut. I think he definitely is there. I like Jalen Jones still.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have our cornerback group settled, which we'll probably talk about in the next episode or two. But boy, they were showing out tonight. Julian Blackman, does he not know he already on the roster?
Yeah, that's something to prove.
Oh, that man acting like he trying to make a roster spot tonight. He was actually everywhere. Like for 4 straight downs, this man was in the play, like doing something, whether it was tackling, breaking it up, helping with the tackle. He was doing something. I'm like, man, what is all going on? So I love seeing Julian Blackman out there just grinding. Dio Dangbo, another sack, looking good. Tyquan Lewis and McTelvin Agam, they also swallowed Tanner Mackey up for a sack. So it's good to see that our defense is generating pressure with this base 4-3 defense. You know, we're not sending a lot of blitzes. It's that Gus Bradley defense, and I think he's got the squad right for his second year under the belt. You know, if you can generate pressure with just 4, and I think you're in good shape, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I want to see that consistent pressure, like you said, man, because they were looking good. There were a couple plays where I was like, "Oh, we're not getting the pressure we need," but I felt like after there was a play where we weren't generating enough pressure, the very next play, them dudes were in the backfield hitting somebody. So that's all I want to see. I think they're recognizing, when those small mistakes may happen, or maybe not even a mistake, but maybe how they lost that battle against that offensive lineman, and then the very next play they come back and show up and show out. So I like what we saw with them.
And I also think, I mean, yes, they gave up a touchdown on the opening drive, but let's not forget our special teams.
Yeah.
We had a missed tackle, which led to like a 60, 65-yard. I think it was actually more than that. It might have been like a 70-yard kickoff return, which put them in a short field position. Yeah, it's Marcus Mariota and the backups, but hey, it's tough when you only have 20 yards to play with. Other than that, and in the half, it was 17-13. So they held them to field goals. Other than that, so really that's a negative on our special teams, which more times likely than not, they're not going to miss that tackle.
Right.
And he's not going to be able to run to the opposite side and go 50 on us. So I'm not too worried about that, but people I think were overreacting about that opening drive touchdown to the backup. So.
Yeah. Overall, man, just a real good first half for offense and defense. Like I said, like a lot of what we saw. I really don't care that it was a second group that was out there for the Eagles. What I care about is the first group for our team looked good. I saw what I like to say consistency across the board for our players. Some of the biggest things though, like we talked about here earlier during the offseason, is really want to see this wide receiver core elevate, especially when we're still shaky at the running back position. Obviously, we know there's a lot going on between now and Tuesday.
And we didn't even talk about Jonathan Taylor. I'm letting y'all know right now. I ain't talking about it until that deadline.
Right. We'll discuss that next week. All I'm saying with that is that, with that still being an issue, I need this wide receiving core to be top notch. Because when they were talking about, and again, not to get into JT, but when I was watching the Amazon Prime cast, it was Kirk and Al. They were talking about, what these other teams say. They mentioned the Bills, they mentioned the Bengals, the Chiefs. They mentioned all these teams, and what they mentioned, they said they may not have what they call quote an elite running back, but they have an elite quarterback and have an elite receiving core. Right now, we got to have an elite receiving core to be able to function without missing pieces on our team. So we really need these guys to step up at a time like right now. And I know they'll get better as the season goes on. But for us to be even in those talks of what to reach in Anthony Richardson's potential, we got to have everybody else reaching their full potential to help elevate that game for us on the offensive side of the ball.
We'll see if that will happen because looking at tonight, I think our wide receiver group definitely took a dip in production.
Mm-hmm.
Really, our leading receiver was Kylan Granson, and that was off 2 targets. So, I'm not going to overreact. It's preseason, but it was the last preseason game. So, we have to head into Jacksonville with these stats, with this information, with this evidence. But again, I'm not going to overreact. I think they can put it all together. We saw them, a few games last year, like completely ball out with Matt Ryan and Jeff Saturday as the head. I think we have to wait till regular season to see Shane Steichen really get into his bag.
Yeah,
get into it.
Agreed. And I think he did look more comfortable today, though, even when he was like kind of on the sidelines doing his thing, calling plays. Looked like they were a little more ahead than what we saw in the Buffalo preseason game and things of that sort. So, yeah, I mean, he's dipping into his bag, and I'm sure as the season progresses, he's going to show out, especially game 1, at home. But we'll talk about that for the pregame stuff.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, dog.
Hey, look, anything else we missed?
I think that's it, man. It's good first half.
If you guys are still watching the game, continue watching. Looks like the Colts just got another touchdown as we speak.
Take it.
Gardner Minshew passed to Kenyon Drake. So, yeah, like to see it. Gardner Minshew, high quality backup. But yeah, guys, we had to get something out after first half. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast tonight, today, whenever you're listening to it. We're live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to the podcast. We'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. Y'all take care.